Is there a crisis in food and nutrition in the Muslim community?
There is.
Depends what Muslim community you're talking about.
All right.
Yes, partially.
Okay.
I would say
Brother, you're half Asian?
I'm half Asian.
Alright, so you gotta say that you had vegetables. I got something for you. MSG. I don't want to attack you, man. We're gonna go back there. We're gonna hit it. Let me get it. I'm sorry.
بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء
Asalamualikum
الكون.
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, musalliyan ala Muhammadin wa alihi wa man tala. Today we're bringing you an amazing show here. This is the first episode of the Brothers Club. Inshallah, look out for us every single week. Inshallah, every Friday night we'll have a show coming out on different topics and different issues with special amazing guests. Tonight we have Ustad Shugri, Ustad Yura, inshallah, and we got a very interesting topic tonight as one of our first topics in the Brothers Club. But our topic for tonight is food and nutrition. What are some of the key issues that are happening within the Muslim community that we need to, inshallah, hopefully we'll bring them out in this discussion tonight, that we can really discuss and put some highlight in and turn it into, hopefully create some solutions here. Because I think there's an epidemic in food and nutrition. I deal with kids all the time. Majority of our youth, they eat junk food 5 times a day. So food and nutrition, what is the Quran and the Sunnah, what is its place, and what is the recommended path on taking when it comes to food and nutrition. So my amazing panelists tonight, Ustad Yura, one of my close buddies, Ustad Shugri, one of my close buddies, also brothers that I've known for some time. So inshallah tonight, we'll get into it. So my first question for the brothers, and inshallah I'll be sharing my opinions too, is there an epidemic or a crisis in food and nutrition in the Muslim community? Is there a crisis?
Well, first of all, brothers, I did, flip burgers. I did all of that, So I'm feeling a little guilty here, You exposing me, man. You exposing me. But I'll tell you one thing, Akhi. We have this epidemic. We have this, actually in America since the 1950s.
Yeah.
Because what happened is, if you look at the history of food in America, for example, that doctors in the 50s decided that what is causing heart attack or cholesterol is the fat inside, the fast foods.
Yeah.
So when they decided this, what they replaced the fat with was sugar. Because in order for food to have taste, you either need fat or
you either need
sugar. So they started something called the low-fat diet. Low-fat diet. But actual fat is good for you. Because the fat that is inside the food metabolizes faster. But sugar, processed sugar, is not good for you, right? So what happened was, then everything, when they extracted the fat out of everything and they replaced sugar, it became an epidemic. And people were more addicted to sugar than they were to fat. So it is very difficult for you to say today that we can exclude, junk food from our lives. Because if you go and buy yogurt that is low fat, are you eating healthy? Are you eating junk food? As a matter of fact, the sugar that is replacing the fat in these, items is, here we go, aspartame. Aspartame is a sweetener. And if you look at the history of aspartame, you will realize that it was used by the Nazis and all these governments to poison people.
No.
Now that right there is now being put in our food. If you look at, tumors in the brain, if you look at, Alzheimer's disease, if you look at so many diseases coming, people, scientists who are vocal and doctors who are against these type of sugars, they will tell you aspartame is one of the biggest factors aspartame, monosodium glutamate, which is MSG, which is maraq digad, by the way, maraq digad. Okay? What they did, so what did the Africans do? Alright, I don't even say Somalis. I just say like, in back home, when they used to cook rice was, they would cook the goat meat. And all of the broth and the fat and everything that was inside the goat and all the mashallah and everything that was there was then saved. They kept that, right? They kept that, yes. They kept that and then they added rice. And then the rice became amazing. So, in the 90s, they introduced maraq digad. They came to the
Maraq digad. What's that in English? What did they say in English?
It's basically chicken cubes.
Chicken cubes.
Yeah.
Flavor.
And it's basically monosodium glutamate. So what they did is, monosodium glutamate is that thing that makes food tasty.
Okay.
Right? So they extracted monosodium glutamate from all these things. Whenever you extract something from something else,
something else comes out.
and you give the person the concentrated extract, what happens is they get overdose. Allah balanced this stuff in the natural foods. Okay? So anyway, the youth and all of us, including myself, at a restaurant and who cooked and flipped burgers for people. I feel guilty, but I will answer your question.
Is there a crisis?
There's a crisis. I should have just said there's a crisis. But you know what? I went
Mr.
outside.
Shukri is an expert in the field. He used to flip burgers.
I mean, you know,
He sounds more like a nutritionist.
Bro, what you doing? Bro, you embarrassing us, bro.
I'm not embarrassing you guys. I just felt like, you know, I need to look into this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
But there is a crisis. We have an epidemic, and we need an academic way of looking at it.
So, what do you think? Food, is there a crisis in food and nutrition in the Muslim community?
There is.
Depends what Muslim community you're talking about.
All right.
That's partially. I
Okay.
would say
Brother, you're half Asian?
I'm half Asian.
Alright, so you try to say that you got to eat vegetables.
We're good. We're good.
I got something for you. MSG. I'm going to attack you, man. We're going to go back there. We're going to hit it.
Let him get it.
So
Let him
what
get
I'm saying
I'm
is,
sorry.
I'm saying that it's a greater epidemic in the United States.
It is.
It's a greater epidemic in the
Yeah.
United States. For us as Muslims, we do suffer from the setbacks of these.
Yeah.
It does hit our community,
Yeah.
but not as much as it does hit the non-Muslim community.
Yeah.
Compare our community, compare our community to non-Muslim community. We you don't see affect us that much. But what's deceiving about this is in our community, you'll see like Abdullah, Muhammad, Abdi, all these brothers and sisters, they're slim. So you think they're healthy. But health is not determined by slim, how slim you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's not determined by how slim you are, all that.
Or how big you are, yeah.
And how big you are, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's important for us to understand that, we shouldn't just look at people who are fat and say this is an epidemic.
Yeah. True.
You have a lot of skinny people who have cancer, who have like health issues, who have like high blood pressure and all these things.
Yeah.
So all it comes down to is to how you eat and what you choose to eat.
Yeah.
So I think that's, in short, that's.
Me personally, I really think there's a huge crisis. One thing I did from even when I was young is I have a few healthy habits. Me personally, because I kind of saw this a long time ago. One, I don't eat.
You do.
One, I don't eat microwaved foods. Personal choice. My family, they hate that about me.
Alhamdulillah.
Two, I only eat fresh foods. If something's not cooked or fresh and I don't see it, I don't eat it.
MashaAllah.
Three, I only eat, meaning fresh food isn't like hot food. Three, I don't eat stored foods, meaning if something's been cooked and then stored in the refrigerator, and then hours later, the only way I could ever eat that is by recooking it. There is no way I could just take it out, put it in a microwave, the cycle continues.
Yeah.
Right? On the opposite side, I only drink water, milk, and juice. I don't drink pop. I don't drink coffee. I don't eat junk food. I try not to. You know what I mean? Once a year, maybe I have.
Guilty
Guilty
pleasures.
Guilty pleasures.
Don't eat candies.
Dick the Grill, you know what I mean? Shout out to Dick the Grill. Shout out to Dick the Grill. Sometimes that's probably the only place I'll go and have a chicken wrap or caddy burrito, something like that. You know what I mean?
It's just free advertising, brother, because I got other restaurants.
Oh,
I'm playing with you.
That's
The
sometimes
heart goes to my brother Deg.
Yeah.
But I got him.
That's about it. So I do think there's quite. I'm a teacher. You know what I mean? I was a teacher for a long time, and I noticed that the kids, wallahi,
It's a new generation.
in the new generation, all they do is eat junk food. You know, foods that have high melting point, which means high melting point is if you melt this food, you know, it would take a long time to break it down. You know, and it would take for your body to break it down. Even if you exercise for hours, you can't burn off those hot Cheetos. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not possible.
Yeah.
So personally,
So Ustad, let me jump
Yeah.
in here.
Okay.
Let me jump in because
Take a jab.
I'm about to
Take a jab.
I'm about to be the Mike Tyson. That's my generation. Okay, you guys sound like Mayweather, whatever. This is Mike Tyson, all right? That's my generation. You come from the Mayweather generation. Pacquiao, Mayweather. You see it right there?
Look at this guy, man. Come on, man.
Okay, so first of all, Ustad, you mentioned a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
We need to understand this from there are in the community of health eating freaks or activists. Let me use the word activist, okay?
Definitely.
There is a huge debate among them.
On both sides.
So there are three aspects of the food that are primary. You have, for example, the carbohydrate, okay, which gives you the fuel and energy. You have fat, which also gives you fuel and energy. And you have protein, which gives you weight. So you have those three. Now, everybody has a say as to what diet people should embark on that will make them healthy, that will protect them from the epidemics that exist in society, like cancer, heart disease, all of that. Some people will say, you know what, we need to have a high carb diet and vegetable and avoid protein, no meat, no nothing.
No, nothing.
Okay? Some people will say, no, avoid carbs. Okay, no bread, no nothing that is rice, none of that. Just go protein and some vegetables. All right, and a lot of fat. So, and then when you look at it, their proof for this is that they say, hey, you know what? The high carb diet people, they say, oh, people in China and places like that, they survived on rice, and they're the healthiest people on earth. And they only eat rice and bread. And they survive and they don't have cancer and all this stuff. Well, that is the diet. And some people would say, no. People in Africa, they eat nuts and protein only. So meat
And they
and
survive the meat.
fat and nuts. And a few vegetables here and there. That's it. And they are very, very healthy. So now, you don't know what, you're in America. And doctors, the conventional doctors are telling you, hey, you need to balance everything. You need to have a balanced protein, balanced fat, low fat, balanced vegetable, balanced carbohydrate. And this is how so they made a pyramid and they said, you know what, if you follow this pyramid, you're going to be healthy. But you know what? Everybody who's in that line, even the doctor himself, is getting cancer. When they turn 50, 60, cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, all of this. And you wonder, what in the world is happening to us here in America? And I'll tell you the reason why, guys. The reason why I'm saying all of this. First of all, whatever is happening in Africa, in China, whatever, does not concern us. Okay, their lifestyle
It's way
includes
different.
more than food. And I'll tell you why. Their lifestyle includes what? More than food. There is energy intake and energy that you burn, that you metabolize. We can say outtake, no problem. The energy that you put in is measured in calories. Okay? Even though it is good to have a balanced meal where you eat carbohydrates, protein, you eat fats, you eat vegetables, all of this, also what you burn
That's
is
important.
very, very crucial. The other thing is, there are poisons in the food. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, كُلُوا مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ مَا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ. Okay? And He says, also halalan tayyiba. When He was talking about,
Yes.
there is halal and there is tayyib. Every halal is not tayyib, but every tayyib is what? Halal. Okay? إذا اجتمع افترق وإذا افترق اجتمع. We took the qaida of fiqh, we can say that every halal is not tayyib. For example, you have chicken. Is chicken halal or haram? Halal, right? But if I feed this chicken grain that was made with GMO and all kind of stuff and hormone and whatever, is that chicken tayyib?
It's not.
Answer no, right? The chicken is not organic. Therefore, if it's not organic, then it is not in the natural state in which Allah created the chicken. It did not eat the natural food that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made for the chicken. Therefore, that chicken is not tayyib. So what we're having and what we're eating, okay, is halal, but not tayyib. And as a matter of fact, a percentage of people eat dhabiha, that which is slaughtered. And I'll tell you why also dhabiha is tayyib regarding halal. So you have Ahlul Kitab. That is an entire debate. And you know what? I went to a restaurant with brothers. Their beards longer than my beard. Their knowledge greater than my knowledge. Their understanding wider and vaster than mine. And everybody was ordering steak, chicken, and then it's like, this is Ahlul Kitab.
This is Ahlul
And
Kitab.
so we had a debate. I said, you know what? I said, I agree, there is Ahlul Kitab, and Allah has mentioned it in the Quran. However, the food that we got right now has nothing to do with Christian or Jew. It has something to do with equal opportunity. You don't even know who slaughtered that meat. It is called corporation. It's basically corporation, period. It's business. You think the CEO of Triton or these companies, Tyson. You think the CEO of Tyson cares about the Jewish way of doing it or the Christian way of doing it?
Doesn't care.
You know what? They said most CEOs in America, most CEOs from the immigrants are Indians. Most CEOs of immigrants are what? Indians. Because these people are Asians in general. These people, they work so hard. They dedicate their entire life to a corporation, and they
climb up.
They climb up, upward mobility.
Yeah.
And they become CEO. Now, when you have a Buddhist or a Hindu as the CEO of a corporation that is responsible for this stuff, do you think they're going to care about Christian? Christian values and Jewish values? What the ulama was told, Shaykh al-Uthaymeen and these people, is that America is a Christian country.
Nation.
Therefore, can we eat? Ya Shaykh, America, it is Balad Nasara. Can I eat the food of American? Of course. The Shaykh was going to say, is that the land of Nasara? Are Nasara min Ahl Kitab? Yes.